everybody, Shadrach here, and this is my second episode of fan favorite character builds. And I know upon request this is long overdue. This is the Asari Huntress Infiltrator, and I'm going to start right off the bat with her build, starting with Tackcloak. Now with Tackcloak, I always spec damage. I know a lot of people out there like to go duration, but I just find that the damage benefit is so much larger. So anyways, rank 4 I go bottom for damage, rank 5 I go top for recharge speed, and rank 6 I go bottom for more damage. Now for Dark Channel, on rank 4 I always go top for increased damage, and top for rank 5 for slow, and bottom on rank 6 for increased damage to armor and barriers. For warp, I spec 1, 2, and 3 for rank 4. In this case I'm using warp as a detonator, so I am going to go bottom for detonate because I will be detonating Dark Channel with it. Rank 5 honestly is up to you. It just depends if I'm playing with a team or not. I'll go expose if I'm playing with a team a lot of times, but since I'm on my own right here, I'm going to go top. And for rank 6 we're going to go top for the final evolution of warp. On this character, on this build, I don't really go for passive. I find that the benefits of sacrificing other powers to have passive powers just kind of doesn't really work for me. So and survivability is just so critical to me in this game. For every second you spend down, you know, your team not only is not going to be attacking enemies, but they're worried about getting you up. So I always go for full fitness. It's very important to me to have survivability and to be up on the battlefield fighting rather than on the ground dying, hoping that somebody's going to come revive me. So fitness 4, 5, and 6 is bottom, 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 and that's it for the character build. And now I'm going to do a quick little demonstration. This is on Platinum against Reapers on Firebase White. So actually, before we get started here, I am using the Rieger carbine. It is a very, very powerful shotgun. I actually never really used to use it in the past, but it is very good at close quarters. I'm using incendiary rounds, which I can detonate with warp, and a power amplifier, and stronghold package with rail amp 3 for my shotgun. So right off the bat here, I'm hitting him with warp and my Rieger. Rieger has the incendiary ammo, which does amazing things when combined with warp. Not only does warp detonate it, but they seem to have some kind of stacking effect with the damage over time. I don't know how to explain it. I just know that it is phenomenal and it does very, very well, and a lot of people use this. If you watch a lot of solos, this combination is very common. The warp and then the incendiary effect. I don't know why. It just stacks. It seems to tick and multiply within itself, and you just get amazing damage over time with it. Combined also with Dark Channel, Dark Channel's damage over time effect is phenomenal also. So this character with this combination has just an incredible damage over time effect. So I'm dropping down the ladder here. I'm going to wait for some more enemies. If you notice how insane that left hook on that warp bomb was, you know, you got to think a lot of times you get hit with the most crazy warp effects from Banshees. Well, you have the same power, and it pretty much has the same hooking effect, or the ability to hook around corners and hit enemies that you have a target on. Now, I've hit this Banshee here with Dark Channel. Now, keep in mind that I do have a power amplifier on, but look how fast with my Tackcloak. First I Tackcloaked first, and then I threw Dark Channel. Look how fast it's eating through her barriers and now into her armor. I've pretty much taken out 75, almost 80% of her defenses with one Dark Channel without even touching her with a Rieger or anything. If you see, she had 4 bars of armor left. Bear in mind that she did have 1 bar of armor missing when I started, but her barriers were fully refreshed, and now look at, she's down. So basically 2 Dark Channels, and the second Dark Channel basically jumped to another nearby enemy and continued on eating away at their defenses. So really, if I would have just basically hit her with maybe 1 warp effect and caused 1 detonation, then the Dark Channel would have finished the job. So very, very high DPS with this character. It is just amazing, the DPS that she deals out. So basically, for all you that are unfamiliar with how Tackcloak works, when you break your Tackcloak with either a weapon or a power or any kind of attack, it is multiplied. There's a damage multiplier basically that is incorporated in this action. And what happens is your attack cloak, as you notice, my attack cloak got broken as I threw the power. Well, that's when the bonus takes effect, is when the power that is used or the weapon that is used to break your attack cloak breaks your attack cloak, you get the extra bonus. So that's a big part of why she is so effective and why her damage output is just so massive. Now on the other side of the coin though, you got to think, every time I attack cloak, it stops my shields from recharging. You see that right there? My shields were almost all the way recharged and then it stopped. So every time I attack cloak, it stops my shields from recharging and it resets the time it takes for them to start recharging again. So that is a big downfall on her survivability, especially when you develop a habit of attack cloaking before every shot or before every power. A lot of times it's not a bad idea to maybe hold out a second and wait for those shields to recharge. Well, actually, sorry, in her case, I believe they're barriers. Oh, who knows? Anyways, it does look like they're shields. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think they're shields, which is very strange because the Asari is a biotic and she should have barriers. But anyways, that's insignificant to what we're talking about right now. So I'm continuously basically going in a clockwise fashion around the map here, just kind of walking backwards almost the whole time. I know this map very well. I've played it quite a bit, especially in a solo manner. I've done quite a few duos on this map also. It's a great map for both of those. And if you also notice, I want to point out her evading ability. It's taxing on your shields and your barriers depending on which Asari you're using, but it also is just so quick. If you notice throughout the whole gameplay here that I've shown, I've basically been able to dodge every single warp bomb that's thrown at me. There's a little bit of a timing to that though. You definitely want to wait till the warp bomb is halfway to 2/3 of the way to you, and then you do your dash, or else, like I talked about, how the warp has an amazing tracking ability, will just hook right over to where you've dashed and hit you. I'm pretty sure with the way she's spec'd right now, I don't have any extra. I have no cyclonic modulator or anything like that. With full shields and a Banshee warp on platinum will basically take my shields all the way down and will eat into approximately 1 bar of health. As you can see there, I hit the start button. You can see that is platinum difficulty against Reapers. So heading over here to this next little cutscene here, basically I'm just still demonstrating her dodging ability, the incinerate effect with warp, and you see right there I got a fire explosion by detonating my incinerate ammo with the warp bomb. She's so quick on her feet. She's just an amazingly agile character. There's very, very, very few negative aspects to her. Just everything about her is just great. Her damage over time, her raw damage output to begin with, combined with her damage over time, combined with her evasive ability and her agile ability, it makes for a very, very good character. I think that if you haven't experienced this character yet, definitely give her a try, get used to her, get the timing down, and you'll have nothing but success with her. Another recommendation that I would have for her is you don't necessarily need to carry. I know she's an infiltrator and you do only have a 3-second recharge as long as you attack cloak before every power that you shoot. If you were worried about your shields and you're having a problem with them not recharging on time and you're going down a lot, try using a lighter weapon, and maybe like a Talon or something, and or even an Acolyte. And that way, if your shields are down and you don't want to recharge, so like for instance right now, I could not attack cloak and I could just throw a power, and then I will have a fast enough recharge time to where I don't have to wait too long for my powers to recharge again. So I don't really need the attack cloak. The attack cloak is just basically used when I have all my shields up and I'm in a good healthy standing. Then I can use my attack cloak before power to get that extra damage bonus. So I mean, if I was to do that right now, then my recharge time would probably be 6 seconds, 7 seconds. But if I did a power before I attack cloaked, so the Rieger is a bit heavy. You could experiment with some lighter weapons and try that strategy. I've thought about it myself. A big part of infiltrators for me, though, it is having a high weapon damage output too. But different weapons definitely have different weights, which give you different recharge times. So you don't have to tac cloak before every single power or before every single shot. You know, if you can break that habit of tac cloaking before every offensive action, then her survivability is gonna go up quite a bit, quite significantly. Also, incinerate ammo is not necessary. Warp ammo would be phenomenal with her also, because every time I hit, let's say I hit a Banshee with Dark Channel and then there's a Brute there, well, I can hit the Brute with Warp, and my Warp ammo will give me an amazing bonus to that biotically affected enemy. I know that Warp ammo says increased damage to lifted targets. Well, that's actually a little bit of a typo. That actually is damage to biotically affected targets. So any effect, whether it's Reeve, whether it's Warp, whether it's Dark Channel, or any effect that has lasting damage or lasting effect, like any primer basically, that will leave the enemy vulnerable to that bonus that you get with Warp ammo. So keep in mind, Warp ammo is quite a phenomenal ammo type for biotic characters. Or if you're on a team that has biotic characters and you're not using a biotic character, and you throw on Warp, any effect that they put on that enemy is going to be amazing for the bonus that you get for damage towards that enemy with that ammo type. So right here, I'm just going to walk you guys through this hack right here. This is on wave 3. What I like to do for hacks is I like to position myself basically on the opposite end of the hack from where the enemies are coming to me from. So that way, as you can see right there, I got a little bit thick. I got a little bit under a third of the way done with the hack, and I just went out the back door. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to pull the enemies away from the hack, basically going either clockwise or counterclockwise around the map. I just kind of want to move slowly and pull the enemies away from the hack, making almost a complete circle, and cutting straight to the hack again. Try to get, you know, at least a quarter of the way done. If you can get a quarter of the way done, then you only need to do this 4 times. There's plenty of time on the clock to do this. There's no need for hurry. If you rush it, then you're going to get yourself in trouble. So I'm just taking my time here. I jumped down the ladder, just kind of pulling them a little bit further away from the hack, and then I'm going to cut straight across the map here and get back on the hack here. So I'm back on the hack now. I know where the enemies are because I've pulled them over to that corner of the map. And I'm just going to hang out here and try and get another 33.33%, exactly a third anyways, of of time on the hack here. And so that way I only have to do this one more time, and then I'll be done with the hack. Platinum solos, gold solos, all of those solo efforts, there's definitely a strategy to everything. There's definitely a technique, let me put it that way, more of a technique than a strategy. I guess they're both kind of the same difference. To being successful with that. As you see, I'm a little over 2/3 of the way done now with the hack, so I just got to do this one more circle here. So I've only had to basically do it twice because I was on the hack initially really fast. I got on it right away, got that first third of the way done, and I'm just doing the same thing here, dropping down the ladder. Wait for the enemies to kind of come in nice and tight to me. And looks like I could have been a little more patient with that. I could have waited a little bit longer, maybe waited for a couple enemies to drop down the ladder, but like I said, I'm a little over 2/3 of the way done. I see the Marauders were on me right away, but I can take care of them. They're not really a big deal. So I take that guy out, and I think I have, yep, there's a Pyro there and another Marauder. So, but the hack is done, and all I have left now to do is clean up the wave, and just continue on my rotation around the map clockwise, because that's the rotation that works best for me. I'm sure everybody, you know, doing platinum solos, you're gonna find whatever works best for you, and honestly, whatever works best for you is what works best for you, right? We can only give you advice on what works best for us, and if it doesn't, and you find some other way of doing things that works best for you, then by all means. As you see right there, I got one last Banshee there, some damage over time. Man, I love Dark Channel. Anyways, that is my fan favorite build of the Huntress. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for your views, and until next time, take care.